Good day, everyone. Good day. Good day. It's gonna be a pretty fun stream, I imagine. Got a lot to catch up on. Yep, everything's good. Let's see. How's it going? Been a hot minute. Haley's still no Lena comment. Feels bad. Don't worry, you at least get to see her here on the Chinese server, because we're gonna be focused on that today. Because there's actually a good bit I need to do. Good day, Nexus. Are the game still up? Yes, I still need to do that. I only did 3 so far. Nah, it's still up. It's still up. I think she's in all of them, actually. It should be Lena, Leva, and Lainey. I haven't seen anyone else take any stage. That 3 I played. Workshop that name. I'm gonna do the dailies first, which should be really fast, and then we'll talk news. That match that passed the End vs Cypher event. All but one, because the last one I don't really know what's going on in terms of like what the mechanics are, but I'll try to do that today. I just had to translate it. I was really too lazy to translate anything. SMG wife and her hot sisters, so they both wield SMGs. But I know which one you're talking about. Make it very well known which one you're rooting for. I actually want to do... Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. She's a very interesting character to bring up now. No. My brain was cooked at the PA-15. I know. A lot of people were cooked once Florence showed up. They opened Pandora's box with her. Yeah, I don't want to put them on blast on this stream, so we won't pull up any tweets that I saw. But they are kind of crazy, I won't lie. Oh, Doom? Doom is... I can't think of any bad Doom game, to be completely honest. I think they're all great. One of the few series that actually got better as time went on. YouTube police will strike you. They wouldn't. To be completely fair, they wouldn't. It's just that I don't want to put them on blast. Sia is... We love Sia in this stream. I'll leave it at that. So I'll just say, he knows what he likes, and he's not afraid to show it. Yeah, as far as Doom's concerned, I played like the first one, like the original one, and I played the, I think it's the 2021. I can't remember what year the Doom remake came out. Well, I call it a remake, but it's not really a remake. This should be it, actually. I shouldn't have to do anything else. Yeah. I don't know that, actually. I wasn't involved in the community back then. But I would imagine yes, because the skin gotcha is pretty bullshit in Girls Frontline 1. Okay, so that's all the dailies out of the way, but let me do, like, the maintenance first. Then we'll talk about the news. Robella background. Don't worry. She'll show up one day in global. There you go. I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'm done with my maintenance. We'll come back and play this a bit more after we're done talking. It's not just Roche Limit. It's basically the entire gacha game. Like, the whole game isn't on Steam right now, because it has to go through a final review from Steam itself. So right now, it's stuck in limbo. So that's like one thing, right? So everyone was waiting for CN Girls Frontline 1 to come out on Steam, but it's not out yet. We don't know when it's going to be coming out. All we really know is that they're trying to push it as quickly as possible. It's done. It's ready to be released, but it needs to go through a final review on Steam. So once that is done, then it'll be released. They just don't know when that is going to happen. So that's one piece of the news. So no Roche Limit yet. I know a lot of people were actually waiting for that, and they're waiting for me to talk about it, but not out yet. So we still have to wait for the translation, which probably, at this point, we probably have to wait till next week. Only one was in Girls Frontline 1 skin gacha. I have never won any gacha skin, but then again, I wasn't really trying in the first place. So let's talk about Florence. Florence kind of made the Girls Frontline community break. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the announcement. Not a trailer, but it was basically an announcement. When is Lenny get her dress back? I actually don't know. She can break. Oh, you guys are silly. Are you under Sia? I'm not really into PA-15. That's totally fine. But you're definitely the minority here. As for me, I'm also neutral. I can see why people like her, like 100%, and I'm going to tell you why. Especially for people who hasn't played Project NeuroCloud. I'm not saying Ghost Frontline 1 in this case, because in Ghost Frontline 1, PA-15 didn't really do anything, to be completely honest. But her popularity comes from Project NeuroCloud. Okay, well, how to use this one? Because I don't think there's a raw upload on YouTube. It's only like people reacting to it or reacting to the news. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up. Just make sure I'm not pulling up anything inappropriate. Okay, his face is in the way, but it's fine.
For Girls Frontline 2 on the CN version. They have announced the next TDAL, as well as having a full broadcast of all other stuff that will be coming as well. Now, I'm not going to be able to understand anything they're saying, so we're not going to watch the entire video at this point. I don't really have the time, so I need to go into get into work. So we'll just kind of take a quick look at it, kind of scan through the video for the different updates that are coming alongside it.
So I'm just going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit because we don't really need to listen too much. Yeah, I'm a fan of Zelda. Zelda is a good content creator for Ghost Frontline.
By the looks of it. And that, I guess, the hint of whatever this guy is supposed to be. So it is not Honey Badger. A lot of people are saying that image was obvious that it was Honey Badger. But most people are like, no, based on that amusement park, the hint of the amusement park, very heavily hinted at her. So she'll be the one coming. So they are getting a pistol user. As you can see here, she holds the pistol.
All right, so the big thing here is that Sutherland is Ghost Frontline enthusiast. He kind of jumped into Ghost Frontline 2, and he just likes the gameplay. But as far as I know, he's not a lore nerd like how I am, and quite a few others are when they're content creators. He's more or less here for the gameplay and being meta. So he doesn't really know why Florence is such a big deal. So Florence, for you guys who don't know, is a sexual deviant. If you played Nikkei, she's basically the Maxwell of Ghost Frontline. And more or less, it's not. She has done things. I'll put it that way. She has done a lot of things in Project NeuroCloud. As far as Ghost Frontline 1 is concerned, she is initially just a thrill seeker. She just wanted to. She was just a thrill junkie. But when she was transferred over to Project NeuroCloud, they added to her thrills, and now she has turned into a sexual deviant, and she has done things to the professor slash commander. She's done loads, no pun intended. So just give me a moment. I'm going to go ahead and pull up one of the scenes where she does things, and this is going to be something from Project NeuroCloud, because again, she didn't really do anything in Ghost Frontline 1. She didn't really have a big presence there. Give me a minute, because I already have the video ready. That makes sense why she's popular. All right. Oh, this is the wrong one. But you know what? Yeah, we can show this too. I totally clicked on the wrong one. But yeah, I'll just show this. I'll show this. This is one of her skins in Project NeuroCloud. They can get kind of crazy at times. The jerk menu. So, if I remember right, this one doesn't really go into what you can actually do on this menu. But if you click between her legs, she will actually rub between her legs and get off on it. I don't think you actually see this here because I guess they were afraid that they would get demonetized or something. I don't know. But I can say, in terms of degeneracy, PNC was ahead of its time, because she does react to other areas like her butt. Would you legit, what? Okay, so let me get the actual video I wanted to show. I was pretty sure I clicked on the right one, but apparently I did not. Here it is. Let me get the correct timestamp. Okay, so this right here is an event that happened. It's called the Heartfeld's House of Cocoa. I believe this was the Valentine's event. And you had like a full series of characters you can have cutscenes with. And yes, PNC, I would say, was the true Gurna game all along. But back then, you would call it a degenerate game. So, context here. They're in a detention center right now, and Florence did a prank on the other dolls. They're not called dolls in PNC, but I'm just gonna say dolls just for the sake of keeping things similar. So, the prank she did was that she more or less spiked everyone's chocolate. I can't remember if it was a drink or a chocolate. With she spiked them with, what's the best way to put this? With naughty pills. I'll put it that way. And yeah, she got thrown into the detention center, and now the professor slash commander now has to keep an eye on her to make sure that she doesn't do anything else. So this is this cutscene rather than now that you have the context. And I'll go ahead and narrate this out because why the hell not? I do it a lot anyways. Professor, are you sure you can't take me out to play? I want to go to the amusement park. If you hadn't caused all the trouble last night, we'd be riding a roller coaster by now. All I did was put a little stimulating stuff into everyone's chocolate, but surely it doesn't deserve confinement, right? Shouldn't you enjoy yourself on days like this? No matter how you try to explain it away, a punishment is a punishment, and you're stuck here for the day, Florence. You're such a stick in the mud, Professor. In here, you said you were going to take me out on a date today, liar. I didn't lie. Aren't I here to keep you company? So you're saying we're having a detention date today? This kind of play is pretty fun too. So Professor, what do you plan to do with me here? I believe yeah, he picks to watch a movie. So basically he says we can watch a movie. Sounds great. What exciting movies do you have? Let's see. The only thing the detention center cell has here is a wizard safety primer. You aren't going to watch that with me during our date, are you? Personally, I think you could use a refresher on knowledge in that field. God, this is so lame. You're no fun at all, Professor. So what activities could we do that you consider fun? There are so many things we could do together in a place like this. No going too far. Relax, you won't go overboard. Would you like to play a game, Professor? What kind of game? A scavenger hunt. Florence pulls out a box tied with a ribbon. After this, I'm going to hide the box somewhere in the room, and you have 5 minutes to find it. If you do, I can grant any one request that you have. Florence moves closer and whispers into my ear. Which can be anything at all. He picks option 3 here. Why do I have the feeling your intentions aren't exactly pure? Don't think the worst of everything. I just want to have fun with you, Professor. And if I don't find it, then you'll have to grant me a request. I knew it. But I can't end your confinement ahead of time. That's okay. I have lots of orders I want to give you, Professor. For some reason, I have a feeling that losing would be a very bad thing. Let's get started then. Close your eyes, please. Florence blindfolds me with the alcohol-scented handkerchief. Funny things while I can't see. Oh, relax, Professor. We can do all sorts of funny things after you lose. You won't get your way. You sound so confident enough, Professor. Okay, it's hidden. Already? What? Do you still want to be blindfolded, Professor? There's no need for that. Then let the games begin. From where she's sitting on the bed, Florence presses the button on an alarm clock. In the cramped detention cell, there is only a bed, a bedside table, and Florence, who is sitting on the bed. The drawer at the bedside table is empty, but there's a pill inside the glass of the table. What's this? It's medicine which might end up being used later. What does it do? You probably won't want to know. Okay. There are no clues about the box in the bedside table. Let's check under the bed. Ooh, you're trying to get under me, Professor? Please don't step on me, Florence. There is no box under the bed, but there's a lot of dust that needs sweeping. Let's check on top of the bed. Wow, you're so bold, Professor. I didn't think you'd go straight for... Please get up for a bit, Florence. I want to see if the box is on the bed. Oh. There is nothing on the bed other than some suspicious liquid. I checked the other locations later, but there's still no sign of the box and time is running out. The professor and the commander are not the same person, right? They actually are the same person, yes. Looks like you're in a fix, Professor. Instantly. What will you make me do if I lose? Let me think. I just so happen to have brought a new medicine along. Florence's finger lightly presses down on the plunger of the syringe in her hand, and a light pink liquid spurts forth. Aw, don't look so scared. If anything happens, I'll take good care of you from top to bottom, Professor. I mustn't lose. I strain my memory and try to recall the sounds I heard while I was blindfolded, but nothing makes an impression. Tick-tock, Professor. If you lose, these fluids filled with feelings might end up going in your body. I checked everywhere, so where could it be? Wait a minute. Florence, you hid inside the room, right? Of course. You had access to the card to the cell, so I couldn't get out. Now that I've confirmed the radius... Why do you keep staring at me? If there's something you want to do, it would be best to save it for after the game is over. Just now, you hit the object too quickly, Florence. Well, the room is only so big after all. Since it's so small, finding a hiding place should be more difficult. And you hardly made any noise while my eyes were covered. For all I know, you didn't even move from the bed. So you're saying... Florence? You hid the present somewhere on yourself, didn't you? I'm right, aren't I? Would you like to confirm that? Confirm it? Oh yes, come confirm your guess with your own hands. Florence begins to slowly unzip her jacket from where she is on the bed. What's the matter? It doesn't count as a win if you don't personally lay your hands on the box. I know that, so I'll, ring. As I reach out, the alarm clock goes off. Ugh. What a shame you fell at the last hurdle. Florence pulls out the box from the very secret place. Alright, so, it's not like a bad for So, the very secret place should be very obvious to you guys, because you're all perverts. Your guess was right, but you didn't move quickly enough, Professor. Are you ready for your punishment? Please be gentle. Is the professor begging me for mercy? What on earth shall I do? Now then. Please accept this gift, Professor. A gift? Florence hands me a box in her hand. So this was a gift that you were going to give me? Oh yes, the chocolate I made is inside it. My request is that you eat it in front of me. Is that all? Were you hoping for me to ask you for something more outrageous? Not really. I still remember all the things you had done for me in the past, Professor. I've caused you a lot of trouble in the past, and while seeing your vexed face is quite amusing, I ought to give you a token of apology. So go ahead, take it. Accept the present. Thank you, Florence. I'm not interested in such a serious show of gratitude. Now open the box and try it. As I open the wrapping, I suddenly remember why Florence is under confinement. Wait a minute, you didn't add anything to it this time, did you? But before I can react, Florence stuffs a piece of chocolate into my mouth. How does it taste? It's delicious. If you like it, then why don't we write off all the problems I caused you before about that? I wasn't going to hold them against you anyway, Florence. Really? Well, you do like fooling around, but I know you work very hard in your daily work. Compared to everything you've done for the Oasis, those pranks of yours are simply insignificant. Of course, I'd be happier if you were better behaved, Florence. Well, that all sounds super mushy. If it's you asking, then I could try reining myself in a little. That would be wonderful. But that will start tomorrow. As I look at Florence's smiling face, a wave of dizziness washes over me. What's going on? Is something the matter? I think it must be a minor side effect of one of the seasonings I used in the chocolate, like say, your whole body going limp or becoming extra sensitive. I knew it. Wow, seeing you sprawled out on the bed with a discontent look on your face is quite a lovely scene. Florence, you... Now let's see, where did you put the access key card? Ah, there it is. Florence takes the key card from me and then hops, skips, and jumps over to the exit. Wait, don't go. Beep. She doesn't leave. Instead, she engages another lock on the door of the detention cell. Huh? I never said I was going to leave. Now nobody can get in here. I can't possibly let anyone get between me and the helpless professor lying in front of me. Florence gently compresses the syringe in her hand, and then climbs into the bed. Florence? What you just said now really touched me, so chocolates won't be enough. I need to give you an even more exciting thank you gift. Oh my, your body's so hot, Professor. I don't think it's just because of the drugs. Wait. Don't be scared. The really exciting part of the date has only just begun, Professor. And that's it. Yeah, so, that happened. And this is why everyone, everyone popped off when, she was just announced today. Bro really thought she was going to leave. Who's Florence's new enemy doll? Yeah, sure, she's quite the enemy. She is quite the enemy, for sure. Definitely don't want her on top of you. She is quite crafty. Doll crime is real. So that is the reason why people are excited for Florence to show up. Groza's enemy. She downed the con. Special cases sound effect. Jesus Christ. Yeah, yeah. It's so in Girls Frontline 1, she has nothing like that. That's all in Project NeuroCloud. But the guy wave writing that, yes. That happens a lot actually. Even in Nikkei that happens. A character named Maxwell in Nikkei basically does the same thing. Now, the thing about Project NeuroCloud is that we don't know if it's canon or not, but the writers, well, I say there's a lot of heavy influence in Girls Frontline 2's writing from PNC, because a lot of the writers did work on PNC. So it's very likely that Florence will be Florence from PNC and not Florence from Girls Frontline 1. Because Fukai and Belka are basically their characters in PNC as well. So we very much should be getting the sexual deviant version. Now, I don't know how far they can go with stuff like that. Belka was in PNC, yeah. How bad it's going to be. And here, I'll show one more. I kind of ran into this one while I was doing some searches on any videos about Florence. So I'll show this one. This will be the last one I show. But this is a fan dub of her idol animations for PNC. Here, let me pull it back.
Yep, I'll tie you up like this. Now all that's left is that goat. I like it like this. Being tied to a post where everyone can watch me. With shocked or odd looks in their eyes. You'd best be prepared for trouble while seeking your thrills. You know, nothing could please me more. Oh, to do it with me? Oh, come on. No can do. I still need to trade you in for a special reward from the professor. There's no point bothering with that. Come enjoy the thrill right now. Don't bounce on me while dragging the boss along with you.
Yeah, so she's kind of nutty. As like the most charitable thing I can say. Okay, I guess I'll save my fools. Alright, as a fan of VA Sanke Hentai, I think that's the point. I think that's very much the point. Thank God I had headphones at work. So she's kind of a crazy doll. She's a thrill seeker. Yeah. Honestly, every doll is kind of crazy in one way or another, but she's one of the crazier ones. I say she's up there with NK23, and NK23 is actually a verified Yandere. If you guys don't know about NK23, I believe, yeah, it was one of the nighttime stories. I want to say, I don't think it was the Halloween event, but in one of the nighttime stories in Frontline 1, NK23 was so upset that she wasn't able to see the commander that she basically went outside and fired randomly everywhere, screaming that she wants to see the commander. So, yeah. Dolls do be crazy. They do have some crazy quirks. So I would say Florence. Rambo mode, yeah. Florence is... she's up there. That reminds me. You guys probably don't know about the Yandere tier list. Let me see if I can pull it up. The what tier list? Yeah, it's a thing. Oh yeah, I love the air music. It's some of the best music I ever heard, to be honest. Okay, so here is the Yandere tier list. That. There we go. All right, so Yandere tier list. There it's like tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I would say Florence is probably in the tier 2 section. No, actually it's tier 4 because Drugging's right there. So she's actually pretty high on the tier list. I just missed that. Only with the yeah. Wait, hold up. What doll's in tier 4 and 5? And she did grape you. Yeah, she did. She did. So yeah. Florence is a tier 4 at Yandere. Five is a certain goddess, maybe. I guess it kind of depends. Where would Lunacia go? It's not 5. I'll put it that way. Because when Lunacia is not being fucked up in the head because of her different thoughts and is primarily M4, she's a lot more tame, I guess it's the best way to put it. I think the worst Lunacia gets when she's normal is like 2. Maybe 3. If you want to say that, like, oh, like the commander is her anchor. If the commander dies, she'll literally just reset the universe. so maybe 3 in that case. Unless you think of resetting the universe as like genocide, then at that case she's back at 5. Here, what dolls do you have on the tier list that is Yandere? Kukai, NK23, Florence, M4 as Lunatia. I would count resetting the entire universe as genocide. Then yeah, it should be tier 5 for sure. But I'll put like an asterisk on that because she's not like actively killing everyone. It's more just like wipe. Belka, but Belka is Yandere for Kukai, not necessarily the commander. At least we'll see once the Affinity comes out. When the Oath dialogue comes out, she'll probably turn into that. Imagine Ileana as tier 5. Yeah. I thought it was more rewind time. She can do both. Nisha can do both. But whenever the commander dies, if she can't actually well, I'll put it this way. The way how time mechanics work is that you don't just like break, you don't rewind time back, you just jump to a different timeline. So those timelines still exist where the commander dies, but she abandons those timelines and she just deletes them, more or less. The fuck is her damage? Yeah, she got pretty strange. I won't lie with that part. That one was pretty extreme with what Belko did at the end of Cyborg. That's correct, Pokey. Yeah. Isn't Becca just jealous of Mekti, very Syscon-like? She's jealous of Mekti because she wants to be important to Kukai. It's played up for comedy, but if you look at it objectively, Belka is kind of crazy. Not gonna lie. Did Jetty do the same? That one is a little bit debatable on what actually happened. She just says that she's responsible for destroying the world. Yeah, the basic mechanics of Nirvana relies on the transfer of memories, but that's like the bare basics. So Jeffy can do the basics, but Lunatia has like a way larger scope of abilities that she can do that Jeffy just hasn't shown doing. Hold on. I need to turn on the music for this. I'll pick the right one. There we go. I'm not starting stage 1. There's a lot. Like, actually a lot. Arcana indicates thirsty too. Yeah. Honestly, a lot of Nikkeis are thirsty. To be completely honest. Oh, this is neat. No! Fuck! Is Crow considered thirsty? In her own special way, yes. Hopefully that still works. Yeah, that's still fine. Girl is considered thirsty because she was so hyper fixated on the Nikke commander. Point to mention T-dolls liking to dance. We have little idols as T-dolls. I don't see that as a surprise. A little off. I can't even watch them dance because I'm so focused. There we go. Yeah, I'm like way over the mark, but whatever. I suppose it's strange for Leva wanting to dance. A lot can happen in 10 years. I guess you can say that. And who knows? Maybe 45 and 40 dance in their spare time. Who knows? You had plenty of time together. I don't know what track is from. I love Nikke's music. Like, actually love it. I would be totally down if Ghost Frontline had more music like Nikkei's. I think K2's is a step in the right direction when it comes to that. But Ghost Frontline 2 and 1, for that matter, has actually a lot of good music. But I'd say Ghost Frontline music is more vibe-based, if you know what I mean. Where it's very fitting for the situation. While Nikkei's is less like that. A better way to put it is that Ghost Frontline's music just adds more to the atmosphere. Yeah, they use it as part of the gym rotation, yeah. I honestly don't know any bad track in Ghost Frontline 1. To be completely honest. There you go. I think so far my favorite of like all of the lobby themes is the one from hold on. The one from Vector's events. I think that one may be my favorite. Just keep in mind I'm also a rock junkie, so that's probably the primary reason. Ooh, I actually almost fucked that up. I did fuck that up. No! Oh well, I still did the blowout. Yeah, just that. I just love the guitar, not gonna lie. I had to listen to the slow shock theme again. I don't actually remember it. It's been a while. I like how there's actually no actual rhythm in this game though. It's just hit the button as fast as possible in time to finish correctly. Which also honestly suck at driving. I don't think that's actually a default for T-Dolls, so all of them. Fuck. No! No! Recover! You must recover. Oh, Kill the Lord is great. Fuck. Huh, I messed up. Okay. What's next? There's so many. D Killer Wife. Yeah, I would say yeah, D Killer Wife gave a similar response out of the community, like how Florence did today. Although I think the Florence responses may be a bit more unhinged. Oh, this is the track. This is the one I like the most of all the lobby themes. Fuck. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Here's the best part. Ah, damn it, I fucked up. I lost the song, no! But I still got top score, so, not top score, but I still did all the objectives, reached all the benchmarks, so whatever, I guess. I just suck sometimes. Yeah, no full-on guitar riff. That was the best part. It'd be like that sometimes. I think it's only messed up once, which is the silly part. Well, we know why. It's because... Fuck. Guess I shouldn't talk while I do this. But yeah, it's because it's not their event, right? It's Laney's event. You can say it is all of the Sisters events because they're so heavily featured. Oh, we are almost there. See, you see how much work this takes? Does 404 have more fans than the AR team? I think it's more of a mixture, to be honest. So if you can make a good argument that Kukai is more popular than, it's probably the most popular T-Doll in Auto Goes Frontline. You can make that argument. But 404 in general, probably not. Because I would say Kukai is the most popular of Squad 404, but M4 is the most popular of the AR team. And they're pretty close in popularity. Was M4 the most oath girl in Girls Frontline 1? Last time they did that check, yes, but I think that was years ago. That may not be true now. I messed up at the very end. Because if you want to use like events and stuff, Kukai or 416, when it came to the AG event, 416 was the one who got the most sent letters, and then after that was M4. But of course, that can also be skewed because of the event, because we know for a fact that you know, that thing happened in AG regarding 416, so that could have also increased the letters sent to her because of the little accident she had. And you can say the same for about M4, because everyone is like, M4, please come back. But also, the letters are also pretty silly because people sent letters to Angelia, who is dead. So... have any other than 5 members. Yeah, it's 94. Just 94. I'm way too focused right now. I'm zoned in. There we go. Angelia with Oath's commander instead. I think there's some contention with 94's new name because I think it depends on the translation that you use. Right now, it should be Alva if you want to do a direct translation, but I do think when people translated it before 94 came out, they were calling her Anna. So it's either Anna or Alva, but officially speaking, for now, it's Alva. I'm just gonna call her 94. Yeah, it's probably a Kukai thing, like how in PNC they could call her Kukai. Or you be one of the special people that they say Clucky. Clucky, that's so funny. Cocky. At their individuality, keep calling her by their gun name. To be completely fair, I don't think they would mind that much. I think the only person who like actually like give a fuck is actually Robella. Because Rebella has her thing that's very unique to her and M4. But seriously, if the commander says, "Hey, I'm just gonna keep calling you RO," RO would just say, "Yes, Daddy." Yes. I mean, to be completely honest, RO is the most like M4. So I think she'd be the most likely to just go full Yandere on the commander. If she ever had a chance to. She just doesn't. I mean, you mess up once and you don't get the showtime. But you still win anyways. Maybe I'll just do that. Yeah, to just get the showtime. We're doing this again? Okay. Yes, mommy. Probably. Hold on. Hold on. One more. I would say the Mountain Glaze plan gets a bit annoying. Gets expected in the lore. Just some low diffusion. Well, what they exactly disagreed on, right? Grossa has disagreed with them quite a number of times, actually. So I guess it's kind of like, what exactly are you looking for when it comes to a disagreement? Fuck, no! Like, are you looking for like an open argument or what? Because we've already seen disagreement before in Ghost Frontline 1, and that was with RPK. That's pretty extreme though, so the question would be too locked in. the question would be what is what's the level of disagreement are you looking for? Because a cult, so an example is Kulfine. If that's the example, then would you really call that a disagreement? So are you saying like you don't want the T-Dolls to, are you, is it more like a simping thing? Like you think all the T-Dolls simper for the commander too hard? Because at that point that is a bit of a different topic than saying a disagreement, right? That said, I think I get. Okay, so that's what you mean. That is really going to have to happen with new characters. Or Steven, if Steven's ever comes back, I think she would be the one that actually brings in that hostility that you were looking for. But otherwise, it's going to have to come down to new dolls. That's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to Ulrid interacting with the commander at some point. That's not like an Infinity story that we're getting in a couple of days. Because when it comes to an Infinity story, obviously they're going to be like lovey-dovey and shit, right? So it's not going to happen then. But hopefully it comes to a point where they actually meet together and then Ulrid is gonna be like, fuck humans at first, right? And then she has to take time to warm up to the commander. Well, Shrekri is like ultra primed from being in a cafe for so long, so she already likes the commander. I hate when they do this.
了解。私がみんなを守る。ごめんね。投降しなさい。
Okay, that's my music. I'm gonna pull in something new. Something more fan-driven. Hopefully they can auto this, but my gear is still awful, so we'll see what happens. Uno card reverser. More or less, yeah. Lina's hips. They are. 100%. I personally think it's kind of funny. So there has been a bit of a topic on Twitter, and I'll just go ahead and just throw this out there. When it comes to, let's say, fan service for Girls Frontline, as well as Nikkei, because the topic as a whole was talking about like how Nikkei is kind of like, it goes too hard on the fan service to the point where it takes away from the story. And I find that kind of hilarious because, for one thing, it's true. It's not true for me, but it's gonna be true for a lot of other people, I guess you can say. But the funny part to me is that we know for a fact that Girls Frontline takes itself very seriously. But then we have something like Florence happen, and the Girls Frontline community acts like the most unhinged, degenerate pieces of shit I've ever seen in my life. Where everyone's going, "Oh, I want to pound her so fucking hard until my dick falls off." Ah! And it's like, what the fuck? It's just kind of extreme. I'm part of both communities. I've never actually seen the Nikkei community act like that. Clip that. Don't clip that. More than the Brown Dust community? Okay, so for the Brown Dust community, for them, it's like, they don't do that on Twitter. They just mod the game and do Rule 34 stuff. That's where they go. So they don't go, "Oh, I'm going to do that." They just actually do it. Yeah, okay. Like, I have to control this. sim community is why I get so much flack from my friends liking the game. That's just something that you have to accept. I'll say this as a person who has basically been at this since I was 14. Yeah, since I was 14. Yeah, round up is less talk, more action. Exactly. It's just one of the things you're just gonna have to accept. You are now an outcast, and that's totally fine. That's better. But yeah, round up 2 is kind of insane. Won't lie. My friend knows a place gotcha, but he doesn't. I'm waiting for the Heroes Why I Love Nikkei Volume 2 video. Actually, that's actually is coming out, but it's not going to be a I Love Nikkei video. It's going to be a critique of the story. Because I won't lie, I do think I will be playing with fire once I make a video like that. Like when it comes to story critique, you don't critique Girls Frontline, not Girls Frontline, but Nikkei's story. That's like the one thing you don't critique. But I'm going to anyway, because I do think it deserves it. There's a lot I can talk about that I can make like an hour-long video on why Nikkei's story needs some work. That doesn't mean I hate Nikkei's story. I still love it. I still thinking in ways I still think Nikkei's story is better than Ghost Frontline, but that's like in a vacuum. It's like a paragraph. I'm condensing Nikkei's story in a paragraph. So if I had to condense Nikkei's story into a paragraph, it's a post-apocalyptic world. Cyber girls suffering. It's a post-apocalyptic world where you fight alien robots as hot robot girls. And you're a commander. I should add that too. And for some fucking reason, you're the only competent commander. Everyone else literally sucks giant donkey dick. Yeah, it's android, not robot. I misspoke there. Oh, right. I should kill that first. There's Android 18 Nikkei. I'll say no. No, she's not. there's no Android set of normal Android ships. Yeah. There's a lot more involved with how. Ooh, that was rough. Holy shit. There's a lot more involved with the anatomy and design of Nikkeis. Is actually kind of involved, but at the same time, we don't know enough because they really don't want to give us all the schematics. But yeah. The military academy is a joke in Nikkei. They are. It's laughably bad. They have like no survival instinct. So, to get into why the commanders suck giant donkey dick in Nikkei. So, initially, before the arc happened, everyone was competent, but everyone fucking died, more or less. They couldn't destroy the Raptures. So they had to go underground into the arc. But the arc, more or less, there's a lot involved with the arc that makes, legitimately speaking, they should not be trying to retake the surface. They should be trying to destroy the Raptures, but taking back the surface doesn't really seem worth it with all the advancements that they've done inside the arc. Like, legitimately speaking, there's so much bullshit within the arc that I don't really see the reason why you would want to leave, with one exception, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But going back to the commanders, for whatever reason, they made they made it so that in order for the Nikkeis to go on a surface, they had to be assigned a commander. So that's why they have the commander and the squads. And the reason why they do this is because of the Goddess Squad, because the Goddess Squad had a legendary commander. So they propagandized the Goddess Squad, and it made it so that becoming a Nikkei was like a honorable thing for all women. And all the men want to become commanders so that they can become the next legendary commander. So if you become a commander, it's like a high prestigious thing. So more or less, all the men want to become commanders just to be cool. It's being part of the cool club. And you can go to all the parties and stuff like that. But when it's time to actually go up on the surface, they just die. Because they weren't taught shit. So since they made that format, they can easily, it is shallow, that's the point. They can easily get Nikkeis, but it's hard for them to get commanders because obviously you're not super powered when you're a commander, you're just a dude. So they put in a lot of incentives to become a commander, and they put in a lot of advertisement, which is why it becomes such a high prestigious thing. You get a lot of money out of it if you survive. But since they need to go on the surface pretty quickly, you only have a year's worth of training, and a lot of that training just involves propaganda of where like they more or less brainwash the academy to treat Nikkeis as weapons, and you're the hot shit guy, and Nikkeis need to listen to you, and they're weapons, and they're not human, and stuff like that. That's basically where the whole thing is. That's the large and short of it. There's no actually real military training, so when it's time for them to go up on the surface and fight, the commanders don't know how to command. They just say, "Nikkeis, do shit. I'll stand right here and watch you die." So it eventually gets to the point where it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, where the Nikkeis die, and the commanders are like, "Oh, I'm out of Nikkeis. I guess I'll die now," and then they die. So that's why a lot of commanders are just straight up shit in Nikkei, and that's why the story more or less revolves around the main character, because he's literally the only competent commander, and it just so happens that he respects Nikke's. I kind of like it when commanders fight with their dolls. So basically you're looking for a PGR, because the Commandant does that. Ghost Frontline's commander would fight with not Nikke's, but would fight with T-Dolls if he could. But for the most part, he can't. He's just too weak. So he's better off commanding. But at the very least, it's not just him. It's multiple people who command T-Dolls, and they all basically treat T-Dolls with respect, and they're all competent. It's not like that in Nikke. There's only just one dude. You can say two dudes. Basically, you can count the competent commanders with one hand. Are there any male Nikkes? No. Straight up, the way how the Nikke process works is that you have this nanomachines called Nymph. And they had to inject the Nymph into the human brain. And that injects a code that manifests the body into a Nikke. So with females, there's a fatality rate of like 30%, I want to say, is around there. While with men, it's a 100% fatality rate. It just doesn't work. Nymph literally does not work on men. They just die from the process. So that's why we don't see male Nikkes. Yes, any thought on PGR story? I haven't finished it. Or rather, I should just say it's not part of my rotation. You couldn't outgun 3 KCCO grunts. Yeah. So, more or less, I'm okay with the setup, right? All the commanders are garbage because of propaganda, more or less. The long and short of it is, they don't want to leave the Ark. They actually don't. The majority of people, including civilians, they have no real interest in leaving the Ark because life in the Ark is actually fantastic. So, ever since I got into like heavily becoming a Ghost Frontline guru, which I'm not there yet, by the way. I'm trying to, but not there yet. There's 2, maybe 3 main things that stop people from leaving the Ark or being enthusiastic of leaving the Ark. One of the things I learned today, which is that there is a medicine called Evergreen. And this evergreen medicine actually stops aging. Well, I shouldn't say stops aging. It slows aging to a point where you are youthful for a large majority of your life. So a lot of the people who were... So the Ark existed for 100 years. So a lot of the people who was like at year 30 or even at year 100, they're still young. Like, for example, for the people who have played Nikke already, there's Mustang, right? Mustang is the CEO of Tetra. He is the only CEO that Tetra's ever had, which means he has been around even before the Ark was created, and he's still alive, and he still looks kind of young. And that's because of the Evergreen. At least that's what people think. Obviously, they may change something along the way, but that's how it is. So the Evergreen medicine, it used to be expensive because they were low on supply. But then they were able to get so much of it. They were able to produce it so much that it's basically just regular medicine at this point. Everyone can buy it, and even the Outer Rim, which is basically the poverty city that lives outside the Ark, they can smuggle that shit for free, more or less. She gonna throw that grenade. Yeah, she can smuggle that shit for free. So basically everyone on the Ark can be youthful. The other thing, yeah, that's true. What you said, Pokey? The other thing is that the Raptors kind of suck. So everyone is like, okay, so should we just focus on not dying? Like, they can have the surface, whatever, as long as the Ark is protected. So basically, it's way safer being underground in the Ark than it is to be on the surface. And that will even count, even if they took the surface back, it would still be way safer to just stay in the Ark, even if the Raptors were gone. And I think the last thing is like the only factor as to why you would want people to leave the Ark. And that's because in one scenario, we learned that the Ark is powered by the very thing that is powering the Raptors. So if you happened to kill the power source of the Raptors, you would actually destroy the Ark alongside it. So the only way that you can destroy the Raptors is if you reclaim the surface and you move everyone off the Ark. Which sounds extremely stupid, but that's how they made the Ark somehow. So yeah, that's a lot of yapping. Honestly, I forgot why I went on that yap session. That just happens sometimes. But long story short, there is some writing problems with Nikke. Way more writing problems with Nikke than there is in Ghost Frontline. And Ghost Frontline is not perfect. I do have a lot of things I can talk about with Ghost Frontline as well. But I think the issues that Nikke has is more egregious. So I would like to talk about that. But exactly, Poke. That'd be like the one thing. I had to pull her back because she's gonna die to fucking whatever. Time shenanigans, yeah. So the character writing in Nikke is fantastic. I think the character writing in Nikke is actually way better in Nikke than it is in Ghost Frontline 1. And Ghost Frontline 2 is a bit of a different story. It's much closer, but I still think Nikke edges out. But the big reason why it actually works is because a big factor, let me put it that way, a big factor as to why it works is because they ignore everything else. They focus extremely hard and they kind of force things to happen. I just shouldn't do that. Let me just rewind. They do a lot of forcing things to happen, to be completely honest. And there's like a lot of examples of them just forcing things to happen. Like, for example, let's talk about the latest chapters, right? Since that was brought up. One of the things that Zeriskin was really pissed off about, because we basically Zeriskin doesn't play the game anymore because it's too much work. So I have like this busted account. I shouldn't say busted, but it's really good. So I can do the events and the main chapters on like two days, pretty easily. So we end up watching the new cutscenes together. So the one thing that Zeriskin was really pissed off about was how much they lie about the power scaling between characters, and I will admit it's extremely egregious at how bad they are at maintaining consistency when it comes to power scaling. So by that I mean the big thing that can be bad like Dragon Ball. It's one of those things where I can see why someone will be pissed off about it. And as someone who used to care a lot about power scaling, I don't care about it as much anymore. I just want them to be consistent, but they can't even be consistent, to be completely honest. So oh damn. Oh yeah, whatever. But the latest chapters, one of the main antagonist of that chapter has another enemy called Ziz, and I'll go ahead and just pull up the picture of it real quick. Ziz. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So this is Ziz, and she can fly. Like her primary thing is flying. There's not a lot of Nikkeis who can fly, but she's able to fly so fast that she can dodge like a lot of missiles and shit from other Nikkeis. But she has a flaw, which is that it takes a while for her to accelerate. And Rappy can also fly with her weapon. And she said that I can accelerate faster than you. You may have a higher max speed, but I can accelerate faster and catch you and kill you. And Rappy is a very smart character, like extremely smart actually. So when that actually happened towards the end of the chapter, where Ziz got something and she tried to fly away, she flew away, and then Rappy gave chase with her weapon, and then for some reason Ziz was able to fly faster than Rappy. And Rappy's like, I can't catch up. And it's like, so either Rappy was lying, or the story itself was lying. Bro, I don't care. My computer is fine. Don't worry about my stuff. So that's one example of many, to be honest. So the thing is that the only reason why they did this is because they wanted to give another character some spotlight, because that character ends up catching Ziz, and they tend to do that a lot. That way they can give character moments to people. Because as far as we know, Rappy at this point is probably like number 4 or 5 on like the power scale in terms of the most powerful characters in Nikke. of the ones we know. Because the only ones that are probably more powerful than her is probably Matisse, ever since they got their upgrade. And for people who pay attention to this stuff, because, you know, they just like to have good writing, it's egregious enough that it takes them out of the story. Because it breaks their immersion. Because they're forced to question, wait, why did this happen? And the story doesn't explain that. It tends to not explain those discrepancies. And the usual defense to that is to say, don't worry about it. But we're just not like that. I know for me, I'm not like that. I kind of care a lot about story consistency, because writing is my hobby. I like being able, well, I like thinking about how the world works and the consistency behind it, but I am a unique person when it comes to that. Some stuff I can ignore, and I like poking holes at it, but that doesn't mean I hate the story. It just means that I recognize that this story is kind of fucked in ways. That doesn't mean the story is bad per se. It just means that the story is flawed. And I do enjoy the story regardless, but it feels like, for most people, if they recognize that the story is flawed, that actually lowers their enjoyment of the story. Which is why people tend to not think too much about the inconsistencies of Nikkei's story, and there is a lot of it, and it has sprung up even early on in Nikkei's story. And it's one of those things where if it piles up enough, then eventually people are going to notice, because there's so many issues. Kind of like how AK-15 and AK-12 story, AK-15 is most power T-Doll in the SF unit, AK-12 spec technically is weakened in her, maneuver 15 and fickle spot regardless. So when it comes to AK-15 and AK-12 and their duel, they never actually stated that AK-15, well, let me put it this way. They have a very proper explanation as to how AK-12 won against AK-15. And that's mostly because AK-15 is dumb. It's the best way to put it. AK-15 is a bit of a mongrel. During that time, by the way. She's a bit of a mongrel. She relied too heavily on her specs. She wasn't aware of the things that weaker people can do against her that would cause her to lose. And AK-12 taught her that. Because ever since then, AK-15 got a lot smarter in battle, even though AK-12 doesn't believe that she did. So that is a example of power scaling still working, because it's not just a it's not just an aspect of this doll is more powerful than this doll, so this doll should always win. There's other things that factor into the victory. That's correct, Pokey. Do they still fight with each other? As far as I know, no, they don't. They've matured significantly. Like verbally? No. Ever since Angelia died, their personalities have changed significantly, especially 12's. 12 is like not in a great spot, mentally speaking. I like it when Mosin speaks Russian. It's kind of hot. No, I focus way more on global than CN. But otherwise, there are examples of power scaling issues in Ghost Frontline. There's not a lot of them, because they tend to stay consistent. I think for the most part, the Nito's power scaling is fine-ish, mainly because there's the experience excuse that the T-Dolls have, where if they have enough training, the T-Dolls are able to close the gap with enough experience, with enough training. The actual egregious power scaling issues is when it comes to humans. And I've talked about this before already. Like M4 versus Quartz, objectively speaking, is really dumb. It's a huge problem with the power scaling. There's literally no reason why M4 should have lost that fight. That should have been like an easy W for her. The scene's cool though. It's awesome. It's great. It's one of the best displays of humanity ever in Ghost Frontline 1. And I actually don't think anyone, including myself, wants to invalidate that. But objectively speaking, it's a really dumb scene. And it breaks a lot of the power scaling. That's a rip. It was a 1v1 scenario. Is there any way for a human to win such a fight? I think what Quartz did is pretty close to what you would have to do to fight a T-Doll. It's pretty close, but the main thing is that you literally cannot get into a firefight with a T-Doll. That's an automatic loss. You just can't do that. In unarmed combat, probably. I mean, Yeah. I I don't even think it's a matter of it depends. It's because you're talking about unarmed combat. Like all T-dolls are have like armor, right? Like it's not something that you can just penetrate with fist or dent with fist. So yeah, I think a T-doll is actually beating all 100 men.
静かにしてもう逃げたりしないみんなのために
But straight up, the biggest issue
こんなところで
with going into a firefight with T-dolls is that T-dolls have aimbot,
逃げたりしない確保
and it's to the point where they are accurate. They are accurate enough that, well, let me say, they're accurate enough and they are reflexive enough that T-dolls are able to shoot like the exposed portions of a person. So let's say a person was trying to blind fire. A T-doll would be able to accurately shoot their hand, and they wouldn't be able to hold their gun anymore. And that has happened in CT. I don't think Colfine can handle 100 men physically. I'm pretty sure. I want to say it happened in a side story, but I'm pretty sure that a regular ass doll actually took down the commander. Well, we're not talking about civilian dolls. We're talking about T-dolls. So if you're saying like, if you're trying to say that the Griffin T-dolls don't have armor because they were converted from civilian, that's not necessarily true. They're all reinforced. Well, Pokey, that's what I mean when I say the power scaling was out of whack. Because Quartz should not have been able to do that, based on everything that we knew. Because they weren't actually like in a firefight. They were having an actual firefight for a while, and what was accurate was that M4 shot him, and she didn't get shot at all. The only way that he was able to beat her was with the can of oil and then using a flashbang. Which you can argue M4 should have been reflexive enough to like not have that happen, but I'm willing to not be that antsy about that. By mistake, what do you mean by mistake? Just so I'm sure I know what you mean. You mean the choice of her choosing to actually go and fight, or try to kill Quartz? No, you're thinking of the right one. So let me go ahead and actually just bring up the video, just so that we're all on the same page. Yeah, that's a scene we're talking about, Noble. You're thinking of the right one. Yeah, I do think people tend to underestimate just how strong the normal T-Doll actually is, to be completely honest. Based on everything that has happened.
不要再来妨碍我们了。呼叫肉15，战况如何？
体积和扫帚击杀2人，对方步兵不多，能够挡住。
我们把主力困在了下头，终于有4个人逃上去了。
4个人了，收到。还有多远？让得来。
还有2个拐口，我通过监视器看到前面2个人绕到你的侧面了。别让你前面的士兵进入到控制室。
我知道。
They can, but not in a firefight.
"既然如此，我只要抢先一步抵达即可。
So, this part right here, this is the part where he just should have just died, just straight up, because this is a recreation, but they are very accurate to how the text was in the game. Yeah, exactly that. Did her aimbot go to shit, more or less? This just straight up have been the death blow here, because this is the part where Quartz actually ran in to do a firefight with them for, and this is where he should have died. Now, that said, he does get shot, but it's not like a death blow.
这个新人的确很强悍，但是男人也会输给人死。
这里是11路，呼叫大地，我已经到达目的地了。耶格上尉，请立即告知，发射主员。防卫之后就拜托你了。
糟糕，指挥官！
And yeah, that's how that happens. So I understand that you can come up with some headcanon explanation, but usually with Ghost Frontline you don't have to do that. But here's why I'm so looking for it. I'm so adamant of saying this is poor power. This is an aspect of bad writing that we just forgive, but objectively speaking, it is bad writing, especially based on what they do afterwards with T-Dolls versus soldiers. It depends on what version you do. No, you go for Noble. In the story proper, there is an unknown doll, but in Kaliko's Mod 3 story, it's multiple dolls that save the commander. But let me bring up another thing, just so I can drive the point home. Let's see, it was... Let me try to remember a phrase from that portion. That way I can make it easier myself. Okay, I remember. Okay, it's on the final episode. There is a particular scene that happens in Polarized Light that really drives it home just how much how big of a problem it is to fight T-Dog as a human. Here it is. A firefight rages on in the distance, and the troops who have been hit are dragged away by other soldiers. Those casualties aren't fatally injured. As experienced veterans, they knew better than to expose themselves while shooting. However, Dahl's fire control systems grant them superior reflexes in close combat, and these soldiers' arms and weapons have been shot through by bullets. See, right here in particular, these soldiers' arms and weapons have been shot through by bullets because of the Dahl's fire control systems, which grant them superior reflexes in close combat, it says. So basically, in a firefight. So M4 would have these systems, and she is one of the strongest T-Dolls, like pretty much in the same tier as AK-12. That's confirmed by Angelia herself. So this is one of those things where if they do stuff like this, then M4 should also have these advantages. And this is why I say the writing between M4 versus Quartz is bad. And this stuff stays consistent even when you have someone who's better than Quartz, which is Angelia. When Angelia had to defend herself against RPK, she stood no chance whatsoever. Like, not even close. Like, the writing directly says that she was hopelessly too slow versus RPK 16, and RPK is basically like a slightly or a moderately above average T-Doll, not on the same tier as AK-12 or M4, or even 94 for that matter. And 94 is weaker than both M4 and AK-12. So the writing itself would state that M4 should have not lost that fight. It should have been, at the very least, she should have won with some mild difficulty. But it shouldn't have been a tie or a loss at all. The KCCO have like Terran-style StarCraft fire-powered equipment. They have armor, as in like armored vehicles. And that was actually the stuff that actually allows them to win. Because even back in... hold on, let me find the other one. When the T-Dolls were when they were defending the entrance, and KCCO couldn't just like bomb the area, because if they did, they would have destroyed the entrance. They had to go in with foot soldiers. The foot soldiers were dying, like extremely hard against a T-Doll defensive line. And they actually had to bring in their own dolls and eventually roll up the and eventually just win through the sheer numbers through the through their military dolls. But when it came to the foot soldiers, they were just not winning. Let me see if I can find that. Let's see if I remember. I guess it depends on if you think that the Terran armor has like joint weaknesses. Like I think like the worst it has is basically its its helmet, but we don't know how durable that thing is either. Oh yeah, I found it. Okay, here it is. On the battlefield, the melee in the built-up area near the base entrance has been going on for the past 15 minutes. By melee, they mean the firefight. Every structure available has been used as cover, and the dolls have blown up building after building in an attempt to block routes. As they do their utmost to stop the enemy advance, they are also searching for a chance to turn everything around. The objective of the skirmish is the railway passage at the entrance. However, the past two military offensives did not succeed. The defending dolls have quickly learned how to fight the military during the previous battles. In addition, dolls do not fear, they do not tire. Other than their simulated emotions, they do not display any negative reactions. The advantage of being able to carry out orders under any circumstance soon becomes evident. Meanwhile, morale on the other side is starting to plummet. None of the soldiers expected to pay so dearly for fighting against civilian dolls from a PMC. Haven't we seen the passage yet? We lost too many of our infantry, and we can't push in with automatons alone. There's rebel everywhere, so the attacking forces can't deploy their firepower, and our vehicles can't get in. Can't we request another round of shelling? It's too close to the base entrance. If we miss and destroy it by accident, we'll be playing to Griffin's hands. We can't let ourselves be stalled here any longer. We need to capture the Captain Nigger ASAP. Let's go for another charge. So yeah, that's basically it. So when they can't actually use artillery or heavy armor, they get obliterated by T-dolls. They make it very obvious that fighting against them with just infantry is a losing battle, straight up. So yeah, I honestly don't know how much more evidence I need to pull to show that the writing for M4 versus Quartz was bad. First enemy SF was doll versus dolls, right? Yes. Doll versus dolls, and also SF had giant ass turrets as well. Some turrets in armor, but mostly it was doll versus dolls. When it comes to M4s, you said rocket, but it's actually a pulse particle cannon. If M4 uses a pulse particle cannon, everything just dies. As far as I know, there is no defense against a pulse particle cannon. And yeah, the dolls, the SF ringleaders are, for the most part, they're significantly stronger than the average T-doll. The only ones that stand up to the SF dolls are basically the modded dolls, the modded T-dolls. So mod 3 T-dolls, like obviously the AR team and stuff like that. And obviously Task Force Defy. But yeah, the pulse particle cannon, you just don't fight against that. That is a losing fight, and you will die. Welcome back, Recon. Like the pulse particle cannon shot straight through the center, which is like the strongest thing that the K2CO had. Just shot straight through it and blew it up. Yeah, I agree. It's very similar to the Spartan laser. In fact, I'm trying to figure out if there's... I honestly think that if anyone got shot by the pulse particle cannon, they just wouldn't live. I can't think of any unit in Ghost Frontline that will survive the pulse particle cannon. I guess maybe the Elmo, since it has shields. MP5 mod 3. Fair enough. No, you couldn't. And they're all affected by that, huh?
これでどうかな。どうってことないわ。
When is this one? Here we go. Finally. That's fine. At least I hope that's fine.
行動開始。もう逃げたりしない。死にはさせない。足元に気をつけ。アゴーにプットダウン。アゴーにプットダウン。どうってことないわ。
There we go.
交代するなら今のうちよ。どうってことないわ。
That's always interesting.
指揮官の期待通りだといいけど。
Okay. What time is it? Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to end stream actually. I want to do some things before I go to bed. Yeah, it feels like 11 o'clock. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and handle some stuff. Nice song. Yeah, I like this artist. His name is Gil Studio. You want to check more of his music out. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of here. I will stream on Thursday for the new event for K2 or Yuhi, however you want to call her. So all right, you guys take care. See y'all on Thursday.